Yes, my name is Erin Brown, and this is my scene for Portfolio 5. Much of what I had to do was look for references on what I had in my scene and collect data on how to model my objects. Many of the objects were complex and had to have lots of research done on them. Other objects were also quite simple, such as a caddy with circles or lamps that were easily extruded. Once I had my initial block out, I could start working on more complex models, such as the desk. Modeling the desk had some difficulty. I wanted to make sure that the drawers looked as real as possible, so I made it so they can open and shut. And I also worked on the handles. I made sure the handles looked as real as possible. After modeling the desk, my next difficult model was the chair. There were lots of components that I had to really pay attention to. My whole project basically focused around my mirror because of the circle and the inset glass and the many components. This became one of my greater challenges to my scene. My next focus was how the room was built and what kind of room I would use to present my scene. All through my work, I was constantly comparing what the scene looked like versus what I had built. I found that when building, I had to make several choices on what was more important and what was less important in my blockouts and in my modeling. Just using flat and basic colors helped me to see how my scene was coming together. Once the scene was built, I could then look at lighting and how lighting affected the scene. Several times I would check with my perspective camera different angles of my scene to make sure all the assets were sitting correctly in the scene. My mirror seemed to take up a lot of my project only because of working with reflection was such a difficult area that I need to work on more and practice with more. Ultimately, I had to refine the mirror's model and continue to work on it because I wanted to have as best model as possible for the mirror. My finished model isn't completely perfect, and I know in the future I'm going to have to go back and remodel some things just so I can be happy with what I present. Thank you for taking time and hearing my presentation.